before people, bow out, I think people should, if they really want to stay on the job, I think most people do, is to submit their religious exemption. Mr. Biden, who many people call the president, Mr. Biden has turned over this whole thing to OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration. And pursuant to the OSHA regulations, it suggests that workplaces develop policies that offer religious exemption, for sincerely held religious beliefs. And that's coming from OSHA, but just about every other federal agency acknowledges that as well, as predicated upon the Religious Freedom Restoration Act of 1993. That's a very powerful statute for people who will utilize the religious exemption in order to keep their employment. And tied into the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, you have OSHA, you have the CDC, you have the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, you have the ADA, you have, you actually, all the alphabet agencies acknowledge not only the religious, but also the medical. But I don't really harp on the medical exemption because you're going to need a doctor. You can't claim a medical exemption and you don't have a doctor to sign off on you. Now, with the religious exemption, you don't need anybody to sign off for you, like a reverend or an imam or a rabbi, what have you. You just make the claim. So the religious exemption is more powerful than the medical exemption, unless you really have an adverse medical condition that's legitimate, and a doctor will sign off on you. Maybe your immunity is compromised, and a doctor can sign off for that, because if you're immunocompromised, you're risking your life taking any vaccine, and especially, the one that's the censored one, the censored word, so-called vaccine. So I would recommend that people submit a religious exemption. Okay, the proper term is notice of religious objection and request for religious exemption. That's how you can title the religious exemption. And I don't know, maybe we can get off into it later on in the show, some of the aspects, some of the details of the religious exemption, so people can, do their own. Of course, they can always hit me up wherever they can find me, for assistance. I've helped several people with 100% success with that form. So,
well, I'll certainly be doing that then. So I'll be hitting you up. I want to do that. Most definitely that exemption.
Well, I think people who are legitimately averse to, the jab and who want to keep their employment should submit that exemption, and let me say this, that the exemption is really asking for the alternative to the jab, and that is wearing a mask, social distancing or physical distancing. And there's a third one, which is the regular testing, which could be biweekly or weekly or whatever the employer comes up with or suggests or just outright, demand. And then also, fourthly, the possibility of working remotely, if it is a possibility. It all depends. But you do have the top three of wearing the mask, social distancing, and then regular testing. That is what the alternative, that is what the religious exemption offers as an alternative to the jab.
Well, here's the thing, though, that really gets me is how can this man say that everybody need to have it when there are people that I personally know, they say they can't get it because their immune system is compromised. Okay, like I know people that have epilepsy, people that have lupus, and they say they doctors told them we can't get this. So that makes them exempt.
Well, they should submit a medical exemption. Like I said, all the agencies, OSHA, EEOC, and the Americans with Disability Act, and just all the alphabet agencies, they do allow for two exemptions: medical and religious. So these individuals who told you that they cannot take the jab because of these various, disorders or adverse health conditions, they should submit a medical exemption. It's allowed under the statutes.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, y'all hear that? There is a way out.
Yeah, you have the medical
these exemptions.
Absolutely. It's all about a law. Regardless of what's going on with people, a lot of people I'm having a field day with people. It's to the point I'm like bored because you just keep slapping people. Nobody can really come back. I mean, they'll come back with like a little silly stuff, but you're crushing everybody because you know the law. So I'm able to go public and say, hey, I'm anti this thing here, and here are my reasons. And I hit them with the law. Your opinion don't matter, because in a court of law, opinions don't matter. Hearsay doesn't matter. Speculation doesn't matter. Right. But the law matters, okay? And 42 USC 300AA-22B1 clearly states that all of these things, all the jabs, are unavoidably unsafe. There it is. All of them are unavoidably unsafe, which is why you cannot sue a jab manufacturer. They have economic liability signed into law by Mr. Ronald Wilson Reagan back in 1986. So if this thing is so safe and so effective, then why do the manufacturers of the jab have economic, liability? It's a no-brainer.